So next, I want to call up a brother by the name of Toussaint Morrison. He uses his platform to hold it down, to call out racism, to call out white supremacy, to call white people to account. And he's been out in these streets holding it down with black women, and he has some words to share. Let's give it up for Toussaint Morrison.
Yeah, Toussaint! Woo!
Before I usually start these, I usually say, we need to say thank you to all the black women that put this together. So say thank you! Say thank you! Say thank you! When I say this is whose story, you say our story. This is whose story?
Our story!
This is whose story?
Our story!
This is whose story?
Our story!
For black people, our story is everything. Our narrative is everything. And I'm a son of Minneapolis. I've grown up here since I was 4 on the south side of Minneapolis. And my story has been told and repeated by white people time and time and time again. When you hear Nikema talk about Keith Ellison and Mike Freeman, these are people that want to control the narrative. This right here, this conflict of interest, that's easy. That's easy. Between Kroll and Colin, that's easy. That's a conflict of interest, and they are willingly telling you they don't care. They're willingly telling you that they don't care. You need to think about the stories that you've been sold of black people, and I want to speak to young black people right now in the audience. Your story is not told by your white teachers. Your story has not been told by your white teachers. Your story has not been told by white reporters. Your story has not been told by WCCO. Your story has not been told by public media. Your story has not been told by public radio. Your story is to be told by you. When I say whose story, you say our story. Whose story?
Our story!
Whose story?
Our story!
Whose story?
Our story!
We know when they get it fucked up in here. We know when they got it fucked up there. But I want you to think about, I want you to look real closely. Think about the places that are saying nothing. They are saying nothing. It's easy to look white people in the eye that are lying on you. It's easy to look white people in the eye when they're lying on you. But what do you say to people that aren't saying anything? What do you say to public television that said nothing? What do you say to public radio that said nothing? What do you say to PBS that said nothing? How does that make you feel when your pain, your emotion, your permission to feel has been silenced? I've worked in public schools for way too long, and I've seen way too many schools try to control the black bodies of young black people for way too long. They want to control our bodies so they can control our stories. And here's the kicker. Even when they get us, when they lay us down in the street like Marcus Golden, there was no films there in 2015 to see him die. But Officer Dan Peck and Jeremy told us everything. Said, well, I was afraid for my life. I had to shoot. Nobody was there to see. And then NPR takes the police department's story and they give us the story that we believe that this young black man, Marcus Golden, that had one bad day and had one depressive episode was worthy to die. And you have to ask yourself, how many black men are out there that are just one bad day away from getting killed by a cop? That are one moment away from being killed by a cop? That are one moment away from being thrown in suspension detention into a pitfall of just sequences that end up on death? You have to think about that. And here's even further. When they film us dying, and we know what happened, they look at you and they say, that's third degree. Probable cause.
He was on drugs.
He was on drugs. They're selling you lies continually. And now they're gonna put Keith Ellison in front of it, and all skinfolk ain't kinfolk. All skinfolk are not kinfolk. So don't get it twisted. They're gonna put him on the case and sell you more lies. You need to look into the stories that have been sold to you. You need to look at the tables where there are no black people at them. Nikema made a great point. Why aren't there any black people behind the camera, in front of the camera, at the table being an executive producer, at the table being a director, at the table writing the story? If Minneapolis's mayor was was a black female, do you think Derek Chauvin would have been on the job?
No.
Do you think Derek Chauvin would have been on the job?
No.
Absolutely not. Think about your choices moving forward. Think about who you're going to tell your story to. As a person of color, how will you own your story? How will you retell your narrative? How do we reclaim our narrative? Our bodies, control of our thoughts, our minds, and everything else. And for the white people in the crowd, I see a lot of you. And I know that you're out here. And that's great. That's awesome. Good for you. But my challenge to you is to keep doing it. Don't let it stop with this moment. And I had to tell this to my employers at public television when I had to leave. They said that my activism might be a problem standing on the Capitol steps. Whose story are they trying to tell? Whose story are they trying to tell? If I can't call out a modern day lynching and be employed with TBT at the same time, then I don't want to be involved with it. I don't want to be involved with a white entity that's going to dress up racism as some archaic documentary told by Ken Burns.
That's right.
You know what their response is? They're going to play a documentary next week about the 100-year anniversary of the lynchings in Duluth. Bullshit! I want to talk about the lynchings right now. I don't want you to take the one black employee you got in the building and come out here and tell me about a documentary about 3 dudes that got lynched in downtown Duluth in June 14th, 1920. Mama, it's June 2020. I want to talk about George Floyd. Say his name.
George Floyd.
Say his name.
George Floyd.
Say his name.
George Floyd.
Say his name.
George Floyd.
Black lives, they matter here.
Black lives, they matter.
Hey, black lives, they matter here.
Black lives, they matter.
I said black lives, they matter here.
Black lives, they matter.
I said black lives, they matter here.
Black lives, they matter.
Thank you to all the black females that put this together for the time.